Hello, everybody, and welcome to Betweenplays Stock Market Strategies. Today we have with us Sylvain Laberge from 1844 Resources Inc. How you doing, Sylvain?
Pretty good, pretty good. Right. Interesting day, interesting market. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, interesting day and interesting markets. I mean, for me, when you say interesting day, I'm thinking this. I have nothing else on my mind, Sylvain. I have
You
nothing
want me
else on my
to
mind. It's
you want
it.
me to put my jacket on?
Oh, you can put your jacket on. I hear. You want me to put this on? It's.
Almost.
Oh, are you telling me that we both have our stuff at our arms a length away? That is incredible. Yeah,
And it's
that.
an official one. It's not
Yeah, yeah. I got this little baby over here. Official one from the Rocket.
okay.
Really nice. That was actually a gift. Somebody gifted it to me when I was working at the Bell Center for like 10 years.
Okay.
And when I
Because
retired, they gifted it to me. It was really nice, actually.
it's a jacket from the crew,
Yeah, when they're practicing the inside jackets,
the
they're
inside
both.
jacket. Because my
Yeah,
yeah,
the trainers on the ice.
trainers and yeah, it's an official one.
Yeah, Martin St. Louis is wearing that right now. He's on the ice right
Yeah.
now, telling the boys, "We're gonna win tonight."
Yeah, definitely.
So, listen, let's get on to the interview a little bit here. So, 1844 resources. We're in copper, right?
Yeah.
And we're in the Gaspé region. But before we touch up on that, copper has always played a significant part since electrification, and even a little bit naturally before that as well. It's always had its place in history, but as any mineral, at one point it was not significant, not truly important, and then all of a sudden it just becomes a critical
I
mineral, or it becomes extremely important, right, in our
I tend
everyday
I
lives.
tend to I tend to disagree with it wasn't important.
Okay.
Um, to give you if we go back in time for the last 10,000 years,
Okay.
there's been over 700 million tons of copper that was produced over 10,000 years. So
Okay.
definitely copper was in use everywhere.
Okay.
As
But
as
can we say that it might be even more important today with
yeah,
electrification?
I would say it is more important because what we have produced in the last 10,000 years, we will need to produce in the next 18 to 20 years. So
Yeah, that's
to give you an idea, Robert Friedland did a presentation a couple of years ago
okay.
where he was talking about production of copper in the last 10,000 years was 700 million metric ton. Over the next 18 years or 22 years, we're going to have to produce another 700 million metric ton to be able to just keep the growth. We're not even talking about infrastructure or anything else, just to keep the GDP growth. This is what we need. So definitely, we're way behind right now. There's going to be and we've been saying that for the last 15 years that
Yes.
there's going to be a squeeze, and we feel the squeeze right now because
But wasn't there a squeeze also around the years of 2011, 12? I remember in Montreal, people were well, companies. Not, it wasn't people, because regular people have no use of going and grabbing massive strands of copper, but they were stealing them from light post to light post, like
it's
city street light
it's
posts.
it's this the steel event. We saw it in 2007, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, I remember 10, because I was
It
working I was working as a police officer back then, and
yeah.
I was
So
I was
the
on most of these sites. So 7, 8, 9, 10, these
Okay.
years,
So
I recall them.
it was petty theft. It was really Joe Blow going out and picking up some copper out of the post
Yeah.
and selling it to the scrap yards because copper was trading at that time. Copper commodity was around $4, 3.75, somewhere around there. And
Yeah.
at a certain point, it even went to $6 in that period.
Yeah.
So definitely, it's people are greedy. They want to make money.
Yeah.
So they see copper going up. Oh, good opportunity. Let's cut, wires into post and
Yeah.
go on construction sites and pick up
Yep.
some pipes.
That's what they were doing. Yeah,
It
exactly.
Same thing happened with palladium and I've got a blank here.
Palladium and what? Vanadium, scandium.
No, no, uh, it's part of the PGMs there.
Okay. Well,
But
it doesn't matter. But it's happened
it
in
will
other
come back
in
some.
other
It will
minerals,
come
of
back
course, man.
sometime.
Yeah, well, so of
So
course it's we're talking
this
more about
these
copper here.
Yeah, the platinum, sorry,
Oh,
platinum and
platinum.
palladium.
Yeah.
These two metals were used in catalytic converter.
Yes.
Well, if you go back in when palladium and platinum reach close to $2,000 an ounce, if you go back at that time, people were stealing
Catalytic
catalytic converter
converters.
on cars in
Yeah.
dealerships.
Yeah.
I've got my brother-in-law who has a dealership,
Yeah.
and one morning they came in and there was 50 cars in the backyard without catalytic
Catalytic
converters.
converters. That's
So
unbelievable.
it was a problem for a while
Yes.
because they had to take them out when new cars were coming in. They had to take them out, stock them, and when
Yeah.
they were selling the car, then they would put it back on the car.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's greed. That's people trying to make a few bucks, right?
And basically, what's the importance? Like, when you look at copper, if it's going up like six, whatever, because there's a shortage of it. What would create that the price would jump up like that?
Right now, worldwide, we know that the existing pipeline is really insufficient for the demand that will be growing up
Okay.
as we go along.
Yes.
The biggest problem is that there's a big decline in the grades and a lack of discoveries. During the period, because I've been in copper since 2006, but it was good from 2006 to 2012.
Okay.
But from 2012 and so on, what happened is that mines that had a little bit of high grade, when copper prices went under $2, they kind of mine their richest zone to be able to survive or to be able to make profit in their mine. So
Yes.
what happened is that now they're hung up on very low grade mines and
Okay.
very costly production mines. So we know there's declining grades, lack of discoveries, the existing pipeline is really insufficient. And when you look at the demand right now, the
Yes.
worldwide grid
Okay.
is getting old. Even in the States, the electric grid is really getting old. It was built in the 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's going to be changes to be done. There's going to be modification to their grid. Then we all know what happened in the last year and a half. Uh, every country is building up on their defense.
Okay.
The uh, ammunition, the new technologies that they have to put into tanks and submarines and things like that, they all need copper. So there's going to be a big demand in defense. The EV right now, electric vehicle, is really slowing down because of our south neighbor not believing in it, and the big majors they pull back.
Okay.
But the EV is going to be demanding a lot, and then you have the green energy, the windmills, the solar panels. So all these things are all connected to copper.
Yeah.
So the demand is always there's going to be demand for copper in every aspect of the future.
Yeah.
So that's why right now, if we look at what's going on, to be able to just to supply the GDP growth, not even what I just spoke about, just to supply the GDP growth, we need to open at least 6 to 8 new mines, tier one mines, not mines with 20 million tons, not mines with the 20 million tons will have their effect, but to
Yeah.
be able to sustain what's going on,
Yes.
we need to find open six new mines in tier one. So that means 2 billion tons at 0.50% copper, 3 billion tons of mines. So it's really these that will bring the growth of the GDP, the
Yeah.
3% growth that we're supposed to get every year.
Yeah, that's big. That's a lot of copper. That's a lot of
It's
mining.
a lot of copper, and that's
Yeah.
right now copper is trading at 5.90, 5.95, not 5.90, close to $6. I wouldn't be surprised that at a certain point within the next year and a half, we get prices of copper going up to 750.
Wow.
And then the demand's going to be to find new mines. We're gonna need to find new mines at that point.
Absolutely. And when we talk about new mines, let's talk about yours a little bit. So 1844 Resources
Yeah,
Inc. Your company, it's in, of course, what we're looking at as a tier one district. We're looking at Quebec, right? And
yeah,
Quebec has created a lot of excitement when it comes to many different types of resources. You're looking at high grades, you're looking at big deposits, hard rocks instead of like clay and sand and salt brines, depending on what the mineral is. I mean, what 1844 being in Quebec, what do you basically, how do you quantify that importance in the Gaspé region?
the uh, Quebec has been a huge producers of minerals, basically in gold. We all know the Abitibi region. Everybody knows about it. It's they produced. I can't remember. I don't have the numbers. I haven't been following gold in a long time, but they produced over 176 million ounces of gold, if I'm not mistaken, just on the Cadillac breach. You have the Greenstone Belt. You have there's a big history in the Abitibi sector. If you go to Shibugamu, there was a big success in copper, big success in zinc. Then now we have new discoveries that were made up north. Uh, Probably one of the largest lithium camp in the world is up in the James Bay area,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to be developed within the next 10 to 15 years. But it has, we have a great potential. And what people have to understand is that it's the potential is not only for the company who make the discoveries or put it in production. These discoveries and these minerals are owned by every citizen of Quebec. That's the beauty of Quebec, is that they don't you as much as we need companies to be able to develop the project. The government always gets a kickback into whatever is put in production.
Yeah.
So that's money coming in the till for the Quebec government. That's money going and being spread around into the population, and it pays for a lot of things. And that's probably one of the reasons when the pandemic came in and everything was shut down. The first sector that was reopened was the mining sector because the revenues are coming from there. There's a lot of revenues coming from there.
Yeah, and
So
I even heard that Mark Carney is interested in creating a fund that is equivalent to what they did in Norway when Norway discovered that they had all that oil, that they created a fund for their people, and that percentage was there, and that they would not touch it. That would be for the people, and they grew, and then of course they invested that, and then now it's a historic fund, and Mark
yeah,
Carney is looking to create a fund of there, and it's all based on resources. So
yeah.
I'm hoping to get him on the show and to be able to talk about this. I'm very very interested in what he's trying to develop there. So with now, if we looking at 1844, you're looking at developing copper, right? Producing
Yeah. We're
from the
not
Gaspé
not
region.
we're not developer. We're really exploration. We're not. If I look at our strength, we every company has to look at its strength. Um, starting a company from a discovery, bringing it into production, we're looking at least 15 years, 15 to 16 years. Just to give you an idea, we made a discovery in 2012
Okay.
uh, in the Gaspé region, actually 20 kilometers from the Gaspé copper mine.
Okay.
But at that time, even with that discovery, with the fact that copper was going down and the lack of interest in the sector, it the only way we could have an interest on the copper in the Gaspé region was for Murdochville to reopen.
Okay.
Um, so the thing is, as I've kind of helped a little bit in that file by going to Glencore and trying to get access to the database to be able to evaluate what was left at Murdochville because everybody was saying to us, "Why are you in the Gaspé region? Noranda closed the mine. There's nothing left in that sector." And with a discovery, even if we would have brought it to I don't know 30 million tons, 40 million tons within 3 years,
Yes.
there was no point of exit with our project. But the thing is, by reopening Murdochville, it creates a new dynamic in the sector,
Okay.
a new dynamic in the peninsula, and that's what we worked on from 2012 to 2020. The interest in copper wasn't there, so we tried all kinds of things. We even went and picked up a gold project that we sold,
Okay.
so we made a little bit of money on that one. And we knew we had something, but we had to keep it on the back burner.
Okay.
And when they announced in 2021, Osisko Metal announced that they were, you know, optioning the Murdochville mine. At that point, we started asking for our permits. So it took a while to get our permits. So we got our permits last year at the end of the year to be able to go back and drill the discovery we made in 2012.
Wow.
And then at the same time, we had a small resource on our project of 2.2 million tons, which is a very small resource. But we owned that 2.2, and there was another portion on the same deposit that was owned by Glencore and Sochem, which is the exploration arm of the government. So we acquired the 50% from Sochem. So it extends our resource, historical resource, to 5.5 million tons.
Okay.
But we know we have something on our project. We know we have a discovery a couple of kilometers on the east side of that deposit,
Okay.
and we're 22 kilometers from the Gaspé region, from the Gaspé copper mine from Osisko Metal.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different. It's a periphery system. We're on the same periphery system. When we look at our project with the drill holes that we made in 2009, 2011, we know we're on the same stratigraphic column or the same stratigraphic system that they have at Murdochville. We know we have the same geology. We're looking at the same type of rocks. We're looking at the same type of formation. So this was the encouraging point about that project, and that's why it was so important for us to keep it.
Okay. I
Uh,
see.
so right now on the project, we have the permits. We're ready to go and drill in early fall.
Okay.
We have certain things to do this spring.
Okay.
We're going to be relogging the 2009, 2011 drill cores.
Okay.
We want to see if because in 2009, me and my QP weren't at the company. We were somewhere else. So we want to make sure that we understand exactly the whole core from the drilling program of 2009, 2011.
All right.
Then we have some work during the summer. There's going to be some groundwork, some groundwork on the property. We need to reopen the access because we haven't been there in a couple of years. We
Yes.
have to make sure that everything is ready, and then we'll go and drill in the early fall, 3,000 meter on the same discovery. We know it's an hydrothermal. It has a kilometer in circumference. We understand, like I said, we understand the geology. It's just a matter of going back on the property and making sure that we're going the right way.
Okay.
So if it's a new discovery, doesn't mean it's going to be a huge discovery. Doesn't mean it's going to be a small discovery. What we need to know is it constant? Is it continuous? If we can continue drilling on this and discover more and more and more, we never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Um, if I look at Murdochville, it was discovered in 1904, and it got in production in 1954. So from 1904 to 1954, what happened? We had the two Great Wars, and then the prospector that made the discovery in 1904 passed away. It was kind of forgotten. Somebody came back and looked at the data in the late 1940s because they were looking to get some supply because there was a lead mine in the Gaspé region. So they were looking for lead at the same time to supply the ammunition.
Yes.
So they came upon that discovery that was made in 1904, and then Mr. Murdoch decided that they started working on it and they put it in production. That was the Murdochville mine. They produced
Okay.
141 million tons from 1954 to 1999. And the reason why it was closed is it's pretty simple. Copper went under 60 cents a
Oh
pound.
yeah.
So kind of killed
Happens. Yeah,
the other.
as soon as any kind of any spot price, anything
Yeah,
that goes down to a certain level, but then because then you just it's costs more to produce. You're not making any profit, nothing. You're just dead in the water.
that's right. And the other aspect they had, Noranda was in problems at that time. The smelter that was in Murdochville was contaminated because they did a big mistake in the 80s and early 90s. They imported some copper from other countries, and there was contaminant into the ore body,
That's not good.
and it polluted the smelter. So
Yeah.
they had to clean up the smelter. So instead of cleaning up the smelter, they decided to close and they put down the smelter.
Okay.
It was dismantled. Everything was finalized in 2002, if I'm not mistaken.
My God.
But
So
yeah,
I have a question about technically the mining industry. When because I was at PDAC recently, and PDAC has stated that the amount of attendees was a record-breaking year for them.
yeah,
And MI3 recently had a few companies go and do presentations. They had a luncheon. There was a Cisco was there. There was BRW, Brunswick Exploration was there. And I think there was Power Metals were there as well. And it seems, well, it seems it was standing. People were standing. There was no more seats. It was everybody was standing up at this place. So basically, what I'm getting down to is if we're looking at PDAC with record high attendance and then MI3 pretty much no room to sit, standing up, standing room only available. That means that in my observation of this, people are taking a big interest in not only mining but Quebec. If we have that kind of attendance at PDAC and we're generating this kind of, I guess, how I say, excitement, then when you compare it to previous years or previous decades, what do you feel like in your own experience? How do you feel about what's happening in our market?
The market is something different. I I did a research a couple of, I would say about a year and a half ago
Okay.
on the cycles.
Yeah.
Uh, but we're entering. We started entering into a positive cycle for the minerals. I would say in 2024. Um, Prior to that, we had some jumps. If I go back, really the downside started in 2012, somewhere around September, October. 2013 was a disaster, and then everything kind of crumbled. We had a little bit of a spike in 2016, which lasted about, I mean, I would say about 6 weeks. And then we had another spike or another interest in the sector in 2020, but it didn't sustain. It really jumped from, I don't know, gold went from, at that time, I think it was 1800 to 2000, and then went back to 1700. So we were on a negative cycle for the for the resource, and it lasted from 2012 to 2014. In my
Yeah.
book, 14 years, 12 years. Sorry. If I go back, if if I go back into the last 100 years, where there was positive cycles and negative cycles, it's all related to something else coming in. If I
Yeah.
go to the downside of 1996 to 2004,
Okay.
um, it was the post Bre-X. Everybody really went sour on the resource sector,
Yeah.
so nobody believed in it. And then in 2002, 2003, it started moving around. And then 2004, gold went from $300 to 475, and so on until 2011, when it peaked at $1,800 US.
Yeah.
And we were in a very positive cycle in that sector in that period of time.
Yeah.
It created new companies like a Cisco, Gold Corp. New companies were brought in. We had some mergers between company like Xstrata with Glencore, Noranda with Falcon Bridge. So this is when a positive cycle starts. This is where you start having mergers. If you go back in 2024, Goldcorp Newmont merger. There was an attempt from Teck with Glencore, but it didn't work. And then Teck got taken over, and they merged with somebody else right now.
Yeah.
Uh, so you see the pattern started in 2024. Gold started moving in 2024. Now the majors started moving, the stock in the majors started moving from 2024 to 2026. If you look at Agnico Eagle, went from $40 trading right now at 200 and something.
Crazy.
IM Gold, same thing. If you look at all the charts of every major gold company, they pretty much all have the same charts
That's
from March 2024 to today.
today. Yeah.
And then by the time it falls into the tier two projects, like the small producers,
Yeah.
it takes about 6 to 7 months. And then it moves into the development companies. If you look at a company that I'm following because I'm close and everything, if I look at a Cisco Metal,
Yes.
it's a developing, it's a project in development. It's going into probably in production by 2032. This
2032.
stock traded at 20 cents from 2024 up until last year, then moved up to 50 cents, and then the interest really came in a couple of months ago. And the stock is trading at a buck 59, buck 60 right now.
Yeah.
So now it's into the developers. Just to give you an idea, my stock used to trade by appointment up until the beginning of this year. The juniors hadn't moved. The exploration companies hadn't moved. So we started moving and trading 500,000 shares to 750,000 shares a day. Stock is doing well as far as the trading. Uh, I would like to see my stock at 10 cents, but
Yeah.
it's trading at 4 cents right now. But at least I'm seeing volume. I'm seeing an interest from people
Yeah.
because the interest started on our stock because of what's going on with Murdoch and what's going on with the Osisko Metal copper development. Because people want to know what else is in the Gaspé region.
Correct.
Right now, we're in a good situation as far as 1844 is concerned, because we're in a very good situation where we have our permits, we're gonna be drilling, we have a small resource, and we've been in the Gaspé region since 2006, me and my geologists.
Yeah.
So we've worked on certain projects. At a certain point in the Gaspé region, when we were on the downside in 2017, 18, 19, we had over 700 square kilometers of property in the Gaspé region.
Wow.
So it gave us a lot of time to examine what was good, what wasn't good. We were following a periphery system, hydrothermal, and similar to what we have and what Murdochville had. And then we looked at other plays. We look at other situation, other geology. We had some properties that were very interesting, but after doing a program, a 1 year program, you look at it and you're like, it won't work. It will never be a mine. So you step out and you walk away from it.
Absolutely.
So now we see it's record years, like you were saying, to back to your question, record years at PDAC,
Yeah.
sending people at
Anniversary.
presentations.
Yeah.
When you look at the PDAC, because I was there was a lot of excitement at PDAC because of the price of silver and the price of copper. Not copper, but gold.
Gold.
Um, a lot of companies were in silver. A lot of people were coming now. I think the interest has grown. I think and you have to people have to understand that investor in the mining sector, they're long-term investors. They're people that will take a position in a company and they might sit on it for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to see the younger generation that were in crypto and saw, you know, got scam or
Oh yeah.
whatever
A
you
lot of
want to
well, yeah.
say.
A lot of the cryptos out there were
It's the same thing.
scammers.
We had if you go back, like I was discussing before, if you go back in 2000 when everything started, 2002, uh, it was the end of the dot com.
Yes. The bubble
Remember,
burst. Yeah.
the bubble of the dot com
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a jump in 2016. This is when, the marijuana or
Oh
the
yes, I remember that. Yeah.
that's when the bubbles started going sideways.
It's incredible how fast time goes. It's almost like yesterday, but it's
Yeah.
already 10 years ago.
Yeah, because everybody gets excited. If you look at, every marijuana stock that is still alive,
Yeah.
because at a certain point on my trading screen, I was following marijuana because you want to always see what's going on, which bubble is really moving.
Yeah.
So I was following about 200 companies. There was about 200 companies, and everybody was like the best company in the world.
I
We
think
have the best thing.
Aurora was a good one that went up really high. Aurora.
Yeah, but when you look at their chart and
Yeah.
you follow what they did,
Yeah.
they pulled like they had tremendous evaluation
Yeah.
at at their peak. But now, when you go back and see what they're trading at, people lost a lot of money.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know.
and it's the same thing with crypto. Crypto was, a lot of people got involved in all kinds of crypto,
Yes.
and a lot of people got and lost a lot of money.
Yeah, of course. If they weren't into the known ones, and if they weren't into the known ones and they decided to take a chance on the other 5,000 that are out there, then yeah, it was some people made money, got money out, but a lot of people got stuck. And even myself, I put money into some crypto stocks that are well known stocks, and of course they're still doing really well. XRP, Ripple, of course you have Ethereum and whatever. These are like because they sort of have something, they can back
Yeah.
themselves up. But then you have all these other cryptos that, ouch, ouch. Yeah.
But it's the same thing with the mining or mineral excitement. Um, as much as we've been there a long time. We're trying to be. We're not trying. We've been honest with our shareholder. We've been honest with our market. Um, as much as I can point to you a lot of honest people and a lot of people that you know they survived through that last 12 years, and they did a very good job. And
Yeah. Well,
but
Sylvain.
I can turn around and point you right now because
Yeah.
there's a lot of new companies that are coming online, a
Well,
lot of new
look.
projects coming online.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand where you're going with that. Now, and I think people watching are also understanding where you're going with that. But when you look at the difference between, well, what they say is if you're not mining it, it's grown or something like that. Like if
Yeah,
so when we look at the cannabis sector, you got to grow that. But every other thing comes from mining. So even when you look at crypto, if you don't have a computer, well, no crypto, right? Because the only way crypto is going to exist is if there's internet and if there's computers and if there's block systems and chain systems. But all of that comes from software companies, hardware
yeah.
companies, servers, the data processes, stuff that like our tech with Sandeep, when we have Sandeep over here doing the technology sector. But without
Just
mining, you just cannot have all those
just
other
think,
things.
just think of AI. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about AI.
Yeah. Okay.
Just think about AI.
Yeah.
To be able to manage AI, let's say
Chat
open
GPT,
AI,
open,
Chat
yeah, open
GPT,
AI. Yeah.
name
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah.
Okay, to be able to manage the whole thing, you need to have a data center.
They're huge and they take up a lot of power.
The data center, there's one being built right now,
Okay.
and everybody, it's in Tennessee, and everybody's very excited around it. There's right now there's about 600 people working on the site because they're constructing.
Yeah.
Um, the size of that data center is going to be the two-thirds of Manhattan Island.
Yeah. I heard about that. That's
Okay.
insane, eh? When you think about it.
And at the end of the day, there's going to be about 10 people working in it.
Yeah,
So,
that's sad.
yes, people
So it's
around
it's
it,
like yay, that's yay, and then it's like oh,
yeah. So,
it's like,
and it's very energy consuming.
yeah,
So
huge.
you can imagine that you're in Tennessee, they're going to be consuming a lot of electricity. The grid, they're going to have to change the grid.
Yeah,
There's going to be new infrastructure.
has to be.
So prices will start going up on electricity. People will, at the end of the day, they won't be in a good situation.
No,
And to
yeah,
be able to,
that brings us into a lot of societal part
that's right.
of
And the other thing right now, like I mentioned, we need just for the 3% growth, we need to have 6 to 8 new mines a year.
yeah. So
And
imagine,
that's on the GDP. We're not talking AI.
yeah,
Because when you start listening to everybody talking about AI, they all want data center. They all want to build data center.
yeah.
First of all,
Rolling.
to build data center, they need copper. They need energy.
Yeah.
If I build tomorrow morning a new grid,
Yeah.
you need copper.
Absolutely. 100%.
If you know, there's going to be, and not only copper, you need all kinds of metals.
Oh yeah, all kinds. Yeah,
So
it's the list
so
the list is long.
yeah, just putting in the fact AI, we need if we want to, pursue, or if population or the world wants to pursue what they're doing or what they're talking,
Yeah.
there has to be new discovery. There has to be, because give you an idea, from making a discovery, permitting, you're looking at 25, 30 years,
Absolutely. Yeah,
you
well
know, and
that's gotta be reduced a little bit. That's
it's
very
hard
long,
to reduce it because first of all, you have to make the discovery,
Yeah,
okay, which
that's the hard part.
we have done.
Yes.
Then there's always a timeline. The money is not there, so you
Yeah.
have to continue. You have to do survive, and then
Raise money, this,
now
that.
things are a little bit better. So by the time you prove that your discovery has a potential to become something,
Yes.
it will take about 5 years
Yeah.
because you have to drill. Then you assess everything that you've done during your
Yeah,
first
actually, I was
drilling.
talking about that on another video. You
Yeah,
drill, you get it out. You wait like 3 months in order to get, the delivery of the assay results or whatever, however long it takes, which is
yeah.
out of your control.
It is out of our control. So you have to wait for the results.
Yeah.
So once the results are in, you're, oh shit, we got something.
Yeah.
So then you say, I did a 3,000 meter program this year, but I need to do 15,000 meter next year.
But hold on,
So,
Sylvain, even if you get the results, you still have to put the press release out, right? That takes
yeah,
time. It's not like as if it's going to go up tomorrow. You have to be able
no,
to write it in a certain way. It doesn't even a press release doesn't have to be approved or something, or doesn't have.
press release has to be approved. It goes through a process. Just
Yeah,
to
so
give you
even
an
that,
idea,
what, 2 weeks, let's just say?
I came out with a press release yesterday just announcing that we hired our contractor for the summer program.
Okay, that's not a complicated press release. That's a pretty
No,
simple one.
I sent it to the authorities.
Yeah,
They looked at it. Oh, you need to change this, and you need to add this.
yeah, there you
So,
go.
so you go back, you write it, then you have to get your QP to approve it. You have to show it to your board. You have to show it, and
Yeah,
then you do your changes,
yeah,
send it back.
of
Oh,
course.
you missed this thing. It this time it didn't happen like that, but
No,
sometimes
no,
it's,
but I'm
oh,
just
you
saying,
forgot this.
yeah, just a simple press release could take time.
It could take 3 days.
So imagine a complicated geological assay results one.
And 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 once you get your results, and that's when you start accumulating stock. I've been an investor too. So you accumulate your stock when the stock is low. You don't accumulate your stock when the news is up.
Yes.
Yes, you'll be putting money into a company, let's say today on May 1st, and but if you start accumulating your stock at 4 cents, 4.5, 5 cents, 6 cents, and then all of a sudden, like the company comes out and they have a discovery of so much, then all of a sudden your stock goes from 7 cents, 8 cents to 20, 25 cents.
Yeah.
The upside on an exploration company when the discovery is made and you come out with the results is tremendous. You never know, and especially
Yeah.
when you're in a positive market, a bull market
Yeah, exactly.
in the
Well,
sector.
I think that the mining industry is probably, one of the more important sectors. I mean, look, if you just, Canada alone, I think the mining industry pretty much dominates. When I look, it's not complicated. I started like investing personally instead of having a bank do it, they say,
Hmm.
"Oh, well, let's see, are you a high risk person? Let's see the kind of portfolio we're going to set you in." When I had the time and I decided I was going to do my own investing, I was looking at a lot of like things on the New York Stock Exchange, the Nasdaqs. I was like Googling really strong into that sector, technology. LAC was, ended up popping up. Then Neolithium popped up, and there's all these certain things back in the day started to pop up. But then I noticed that if I'm not force feeding Google, if I'm not force feeding what I'm trying to look for in the United States, eventually with time, I noticed that now my portfolio is almost all mining companies.
Yeah.
It seems like when you're in Quebec or you're in Canada, the algorithms, because the mining sector is so strong, that the algorithms just brings you to the mining sector. But that's okay. The thing is that there's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of it's a very high risk, but there's a lot of opportunity. Wherever there's high risk, there's high opportunity to make a lot of
Yep.
money. And when you really look at social media today, I think that this is a good thing because the mining sector might not have gotten the importance that they played in society. I think it's a neglected sector because it's not flashy, right? It's not that new Tesla rolling out or the Tesla AI robots or it's not that Volkswagen electric vehicle or Audi
Not sexy.
R8s.
No,
No,
metals are not sexy.
no, they're not sexy. They're not sexy, but and they were neglected because of that. But I think that today
Gold is
because of social
sexy.
media,
If you look at metal, gold
yeah,
is sexy because you wear gold.
yeah, gold.
Yeah.
Well, gold, yes, gold, yes. That's a good point because
Oh, sorry, something went on.
oh no, no problem, no problem. Yeah,
I
gold.
don't
You're
know
right
why, but
because gold put on in the right way can be shown as sexy. So yes, but I think that the mining sector now critical minerals, the way we see how China had held back, the impacts that it had on us. I think that now people are not really. I think that there's a imbalance, the balance. Like they balance. So at one point it's like too high this way, one place too high this way, and then they sort of come back and they try to come. It's crazy. It might have gone over decades,
Mhm.
decades. Okay, for it to come into play. But I think social media is playing an aspect to show that it might not be sexy, but without it, you're not going to have sexy. You're not going to have the chairs. You're not going to have the electronic peripherals that you're using. The importance is now becoming sexy.
Yeah. The how can I say it? The sector, why we have those cycles. Uh, the sector is a little bit something that comes and goes, like I was talking before.
Yeah,
The grid worldwide is getting old. I don't know if you ever looked at pictures from India, New Delhi, and things like that, where people, there's wires all over the place. If India tomorrow morning decided to organize their grid, we wouldn't have enough copper production to be able just to rectify the grid in India.
wow.
Because when you look at it, there's wires all over the place. So that means if they decide to reorganize their grid, there's going to be a huge demand in copper or a huge demand in metals,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
so it's going to go crazy, and prices are going. They're going to go hit the roof.
Yeah, absolutely.
It always comes where there's an excess. If you go back, if there's a right now, people have to understand there's a war. There's missiles that are thrown left, right, and center.
Yeah,
There's
drones.
drones.
Yeah,
They all need metals. They
yeah,
all need petroleum.
yeah,
Because and and so there's going to be a spike at a certain point because they have to
absolutely,
renew. They have to
absolutely.
renew everything. And
So,
every war has done the same thing. It always had to renew.
oh, of
So
course.
that's one thing. And then you have where everybody gets, like when they put the new rules and laws about the catalytic converter that I was talking before,
Yeah.
to be able to do a catalytic converters, they put some palladium, then palladium went crazy. They put some platinum, and platinum went crazy, uh, because it was new. But once you start rolling, it stabilizes a certain price.
Yeah.
If we were to, I would compare it to, let's say, our roads in Quebec.
Oh, no, that's not
The
good.
infrastructure in Quebec, it's not because we're stupid. It's just that our infrastructure is getting old.
It is getting old.
And there was, maybe there was a plan and the plan was left aside, but there wasn't a real plan of, repairing certain areas every 5 years, 10 years.
Oh.
Every 5 years, let's patch it.
Well,
10 years, patch it. Let's patch it.
yeah, but Sylvain, at one point, especially with the technology we have today, there's certain areas in Montreal that, you have the centenaire, like right, homes, houses, whatever, like
Yeah.
the triplexes and stuff. Like parts of Montreal, are built on things that are 150 years old now. Like, and the R values in the homes are not good. You can't, where are you going to put your electric car? It doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't
It's
make sense.
complicated. The old structure is doesn't it just doesn't gel with where we're going in the future. But when it come back to mining, what I just wanted to say is that you're right. There's that kind of stuff. But I think that we're just gonna maybe stabilize a little bit more education at PDAC. There, before going into the main halls, there was a booth, and it was about education. They go to schools and they educate kids in schools about like minerals and stuff like that. And the more I look at just the education itself, how people are interested in minerals, and I think there's just
That's
more a stability factor that's going to happen.
there's a good reason why, we're trying to educate people. We're trying to get people to have an interest in the minerals. Um, we lost, I would say, two generations of new geologists. Um, I would say in the last 15 years, 20 years almost. Um,
Monsieur,
the
Monsieur Jean Despatie, a geologist?
Yeah,
Yeah, Despatie. Well, I did an interview with Eric Lemire I have to put up, and we mentioned two people I recently passed in the last year,
yeah.
year and a half. Yeah.
So if we're when you look at it for the last 20 years, there's been a lot of, trying to get some new people to go, get a geology course or to be a geologist. But it's hard when everybody's getting excited on AI and everybody's getting excited on, developing software, or oh, there's a lot of money to be done in marijuana, or there's a lot. So we lost two generations of, people going to school for geology, like we lost two generations of investors. Investors in the mining sector, the people that I talk to, they're anywhere between 50 and 75. Uh, Rarely you get people from 20 to 35 years old,
Yeah.
because right now, they're all minded AI, AI, AI.
Yeah. Minded
And
AI, but the thing is that AI doesn't really need them, so
no,
it can
you
work on
have,
its own.
AI right now, and people have to, listen to or watch certain documentaries on AI. AI right now is,
I gotta make a joke out of that, Sylvain. I'm sorry, I have to. When you say documentaries, are you talking about Terminator?
yeah, yeah.
Because
You have to watch Terminator to
I don't
understand.
know, Sylvain, I don't know if that's gonna become a freaking documentary, but AI is pretty scary. It's pretty
Yeah,
scary.
the thing is, the people validating all the data going into AI, and the
Yeah,
people that are, when you look at it, they're based in Africa, they're based in India, they're not making salary. I was watching a documentary on AI a couple of weeks ago. They pay people $9 a day
yeah,
to validate data to be able to go into AI. So at the end of the day, it's people at the top that will make money, huge amounts of money, because there
yeah.
won't be any employee in the companies. So eh, eh, we have to look. That's why we're pushing, and the PDAC is pushing, AMQ. We're pushing on educating people and youngsters to understand what minerals are and why it's so important. Um,
It's
and
crazy.
and
We're
and
going back to the earth.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And we have to educate. I've been educating people. A lot of people would come up to me and, why are you in mining? We don't need mining. Okay, fine, no
Don't
problem.
need mining.
I'll
Okay.
take I'll take your tablet. I'll take your phone. I'll
Yeah.
take your
I hope you're walking to work like 7 kilometers away or
and
whatever the
they're
hell it is.
Yeah, and they're all, oh yeah, okay, yeah. If there's
Yeah,
Yeah, but
people.
they can mine wherever they want. No, you can't mine wherever you want. It's not a garden.
No.
It's not like I have a
No,
piece
you
of
need to
land
have.
behind me.
Yeah.
Grow some copper there.
Well, you even
You
need
have to go
safety.
and find it.
You need safety too. I mean, there's been those countries where as soon as there's a mine or something like that, and then you have rival gangs coming in, or like you just can't. Like you can't. You need to be
Look,
in a politically stable environment. You need to have people that care about the ecosystem,
yeah,
and I think that we have that all here in Quebec. We got Canada, Quebec, stable politically. We have the First Nations that are involved, and if you're trying to do something that is not kosher, then you're gonna have a hard time with them, right? So
yeah,
we're looking at the whole not in my backyard NIMBY. I think that needs to relax a little bit, because if you're going to do something and you really care about the planet, you should be doing it in an area where the laws are there and the people are there to make sure it's protected, instead of
yeah.
going somewhere else where you're going to have little kids working in it and all kinds of natural disasters on top of human rights violations.
Yeah, yeah. It's like we were talking permitting before, and
Yeah,
it takes a long time to have permits. But I'm not in Zimbabwe, where I start a company, and tomorrow morning I hire 50 people and I start mining and I get the permits because I had a big brown envelope that I gave to
yeah,
somebody at the government. And then I don't care about security in the mine. I don't care if I lose employees every year. Um, and
it's funny, but when you say
no,
lose
and
employees,
if you're
we're talking about
conscious,
even death in these mines, not
yeah,
just lose employees, but I mean like lose employees.
yeah, and if you're conscious, people say, I'm conscious about my planet, and I don't want you to come here and do a mine. Perfect. If you're so conscious, why do you agree that we go and mine in certain areas where they don't give a damn about the people working in it,
Yeah,
and they don't give a damn if people are dying in there?
yeah,
Why?
exactly, exactly.
So,
So it's hypocritical, right? It's
yeah,
hypocritical. I mean, like I'll say it. I don't. It is hypocritical. I mean, you can't say that you care so much, and then all of a sudden, when you look at tailings being thrown into, let's say, the ocean, or a lake or a river, the sea. Well, really? Oh, okay. But if we were doing it over there, if there's any tailings, it'd be taken care of properly. Da 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 da.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, come on.
Stop. People have to stop thinking like in 1950.
Yes,
We're aware of what we're doing. I
but
don't want to
times have
leave.
changed.
Yeah, yeah. Times
Times
have
have
changed.
changed. Times have changed for everything.
Mm.
Even doctors don't do surgeries like 1950, or else we'd
Yeah.
all be petrified of going for any surgery.
Look, doctor used to go in surgery with their cigarettes in their
I don't
mouth.
even want to talk about, like, imagine the poor people in the 1800s that had to had surgery.
Yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah.
poor people. Oh my Lord.
So,
Oh, we're very lucky to be in the generation that we're in. We're very lucky to be on the
yeah,
planet at this time. People don't realize. I tell this to my children. We live like king. We live better than kings and queens did in the 1800s.
yeah,
We live in a warm home, and we have all these peripherals. We can see TV. We never have to be bored. We never have to be bored. It's a good thing to be bored, by the way, because it creates creativity. But where does
yeah.
it all come from? Minerals. It's either you're
That's
growing
right.
it or it's coming out of the ground.
So,
Anyways, Sylvain,
let's
1844. What? Tell me two or three things about 1844 to end off the show to investors out there or
we're in a
potential investors.
look. We're in a good situation. We're in a good place. We have a good management. We're very cautious about the money. I've been surviving for the last 14, 13 years now. So, and we never, did stupid things. We're in the right sector. We have a potential where we got our permits to start drilling this year. And we're still active looking for something else. We're looking at other properties. I'm an exploration company, so if we make a discovery, my goal is not to put it in production. My goal is to develop it, bring it to a certain level, find a JV, find a new. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
our advantage, and we're
which is
looking at
which
other
is
projects
interesting for
right now.
shareholders for sure.
Yeah, so we're not. They won't be on our stock for the next 25 years, waiting for us to open our mine.
Correct. That's a
But
good
we'll be
thing.
making money on the way out, and all my shareholders should be happy. So that's where we go.
Well, thank you so much, Sylvain, for being on Between Play Stock Market Strategies. So that's Sylvain Laberge. That's for 1844 Resources Inc. Thanks for taking all the time to come out here and discussing, some societal issues, geopolitics, your company. I've made for an amazing podcast.
Between plays, it's the journey and what you do between where you are and where you want to be. Research, prepare, plan, and execute your strategy. Do your DD and stay strong in visualizing and achieving your goals. Our strategy is unique since 2020. An original concept imitated, never duplicated. Real conversations with media influencers, educational and expert speakers, analysts and consultants. Between plays, bridging the gap between companies and investors.